What's up, yo? Welcome to another episode of the Wrestling Hypothesis podcast, where we, break the hype, expose the truth, and see the business of what it really is today. Because if you ain't talking, I ain't watching. I'm your main man, Ricardo. There's my boys, Kenny and Abba. Fellas, what's going on?
We back.
Yes, we
We
are.
back. We ready.
Yes.
Good to be back.
Yes. As ladies and gentlemen, Bo was in a brief hiatus. He missed his boys, me and Kenny. So,
Just a smidge. Just a smidge.
you're lying. You're lying. But it's good
All
to
love
see
for
you.
you guys.
Yeah, it's good to see you, my man. It's great to see you as always.
Thank you.
So, just getting straight to the chase, like we always do. So, the Elimination Chamber is this weekend, this Saturday, and there's not a lot of excitement for the Elimination Chamber due to the fact of the ongoing saga towards WrestleMania and the WWE Championship. Weeks upon weeks, not just us, but fans all over has been complaining about WWE Creative. How it's always, quote unquote, what they say Triple H and others say is always evolving. Not every story is for everyone, but the goal is to create moments that people will remember for years to come. Yes, WrestleMania is a spectacle about that. But in terms of WrestleMania itself, there's a problem due to not only intrigue, but a severe lack of ticket sales due to the fact that tickets are at a sky high right now as we speak. So I beg this question to you fellas. Abba, I'll start with you in terms of what can WWE do in terms of what is the main problem? Is it the creative or the fan fatigue due to the lack of WrestleMania ticket sales? Abba, I'll start with you, my man.
Perfect. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
To start things off, I don't believe that fan fatigue is the real perpetrator here as to why ticket sales are so low. There will always be a strong market, in my opinion, for pro wrestling, as it has been for many, many decades. I never believed for one single second
That's a
that
great
fan
point.
fatigue was ever the main reason for why people are just not buying. Oh, I'm not getting enough wrestling throughout the week. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's people that are gonna complain. Yes, there's too much content to keep up with on a weekly basis. You have Monday Night Raw Monday nights, NXT Tuesday nights. If you're a fan of AEW, you have Dynamite and Collision. If you're trying to keep up with all the main storylines on that programming and that show, and then you got Friday Night SmackDown. And then, to top it all off, if it's a pay-per-view week, then you have a pay-per-view from one side of the coin or the other with the promotions. I genuinely I do believe that fatigue can be a real thing, but not to the point where I'm not going to go to this live event. I'm not going to pay my hard-earned money for this, for me and my family to go and my friends. I never believed that fan fatigue was a real problem in the sense that giving us too much is going to be a bad thing. Unless, I mean, with the exception, of course, that you're watching it on your TVs, then that's another thing. But I feel like when people go to live shows, they want to have a good time. Like, you don't get that live experience watching it at your homes or your living room or your bedroom that you would going to the shows live and enjoying the experience there. So to answer your question, I don't believe fatigue is the real issue. It's more so the creative side of things. More than anything, we can all agree that 2025 was, at least on WWE's side, was the worst year creatively in many, many years. Probably since going back to right before COVID, maybe like 2019, 2020, if just to throw a number out there. It's been at least the last 5-6 years. That last year was creatively just piss poor. When you had storylines like Jey Uso's rise to the main event scene, the Yeet Man himself, you had the John Cena retirement heel turn, which was just honestly all over the place and very, very mismanaged and done very poorly without any consideration to it. And that whole thing ended on a whimper, unfortunately, rather than with a bang with Cena. And just amongst that, a few other things like Cody Rhodes, most of his time in the main event scene and being champion again, and lack of fresh main event feuds for him, title challengers, amongst many other things. So I do believe that, and we came off that bad year into 2026, and we're seeing a lot of the remnants of a poorly managed year and poorly creative year in 2025 with this year so far. I mean, the only thing I would argue is worth mentioning of note at WrestleMania this coming season is going to be Roman and CM Punk, unless they do something extravagant and out of this world with the Elimination Chamber this coming Saturday in Chicago. But otherwise, like, what else do they really have that can sell me at WrestleMania feeling like WrestleMania and getting more ticket sales? Is it Liv Morgan and Stephanie? That doesn't scream potential headliner for either night. As great as those women are, I'm a huge fan of both. Don't get me wrong. But that being said, it's like the story's just not quite there. Maybe because they're just waiting till after the Chamber, and then it's full gear, full steam ahead for Mania. But otherwise, like that's not going to be it. And you can think of other stuff like the Drew McIntyre stuff. I know we're going to talk more about this later on in detail, but that whole scenario with the top title on SmackDown, yeah, he's got like 5, 6, maybe 10 other challengers, in line, which I have always been a huge fan of them, never focusing on one main contender at a time for a pay-per-view. When you have like a revolving door of like people that say, I want that championship and I will do whatever it takes. I will confront the challenger. I'm sorry, the champion. I will interrupt his promos, beat him up backstage. I don't care. I want to see that because that's what matters most. I want to see people fighting it for the biggest prize in the game. But other than that, it's like, what else do they really have? Like the night 2 main event is signed, sealed, and delivered with Reigns and Punk for the world title. But other than that, like you got nothing else to show for it. So I really do believe that, and that's the biggest reason for that, above all things, is the creative.
Yeah, listen, I've been saying this. I said this all year last year, right? The creative is the worst it's ever been. The worst it's ever been. For sure. And that falls on Triple H. So I want to peel back. And Abba, you made so many good points that I'm not even gonna try and touch on those because I think you've hit it right on the head. But if you really want to know how bad the booking has been this entire year, look no further at the Elimination Chamber. Guys, do you know that they have CM Punk defending his world title against Finn Balor? Who in their right mind thinks Finn is gonna win? Can we really and
in Chicago too?
Right. And this is off of the promo that Roman did against CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
See, if and this is how easy it is to make booking decisions, right? If you had moved Roman's promo until after the Elimination Chamber, it would have hit differently. It would have hit differently than making Roman pull up immediately after the Rumble, give that promo, and then Finn comes in and says, "Listen, I wanna be next in line to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship." Finn, all due respect to you, my brother, you're not winning.
You ain't that guy.
You're not him.
Unfortunately, yeah. He could have been.
So now I'm supposed to believe that the Elimination Chamber, CM Punk has a really, really, really good chance of losing his championship. What? So that now the WrestleMania main event is in jeopardy. I'm supposed to believe this, right? That the WrestleMania main event is in jeopardy because CM Punk might lose to Finn Balor? Come on, bro. What the fuck are we talking about here? And see, this is exactly what really, really, really makes me ticked off when it comes to creative. People in this community sit around and act like this thing is not supposed to be easy. This thing is like, it's not that easy. When somebody goes down with injury, it has a ripple effect on the card. Yeah, that's true and all. But guess what? When you make stars, when you have talent in your main event section that's 6, 7, 8 deep, when you have depth on your roster, you don't have this problem. You don't fish for WrestleMania main eventers 2 months before WrestleMania when your roster is that deep. And see, this is the kind of thing that ticks me the fuck off, right? In the Vince era, we had no shortage of superstars that could main event WrestleMania at any given fucking year. Edge could have done it. Chris Jericho could have done it. Rey Mysterio could have done it. John Cena could have done it. Edge could have done it. Taker could have done it. And these names are just like a few of them. A roster went 12, 13 deep. So now we don't have any of that. Now there's no depth. There's no shortage of talent. We've already talked about how much talent they have right now on the roster. But they didn't do anything to build these guys up the last couple of years. And now look. We have Braun Breaker that was supposed to be primed for a huge run this year, right? He's going to be out to at least the SummerSlam, right? Because listen, they ain't bringing back Braun Breaker. If he's available for back, they ain't bringing him back for a Backlash. That ain't happening.
Facts.
Okay. So now you're in all of the plans that you were supposed to capitalize on, all of the things that you were supposed to do, fumbling LA Knight, fumbling Braun Breaker, right? You could have been in a much better position now, but you had all these moments, just right in front of you, and you didn't take advantage of it. And now look, the Bruce Pritchards of the world, the Michael Hayes of the world, the Road Dogs of the world. This is what you get when you have ineptitude right all the way from the head down. This is what happens. This is what I was talking about. This is what I can't even say any more than that, man. Ricardo, take it away, man.
I respect both your points in terms of going at WWE creative, because especially you, Kenny, because you've been consistent on that since day one. I commend you for that. But I'm gonna go with fan fatigue here, and I'm gonna go with fan fatigue here due to the fact that of the lack of Mania ticket sales, because we spoke about it the other day, Kenny, on our last episode or two. The fans aren't stupid, bro. We're not stupid. The fact that you said it best, bro. Making a story for the wrestlers is not easy. Do you realize, this is a throwback to, just in case anyone didn't know, when Vince was running the company, you guys, do you remember, I think it was either SmackDown versus Raw 2011 game, that we were able to make our own stories? You remember that?
Right, the story designer thing.
I could make a story in a game that is must-see television. And must-see television better than the bullshit that they have today in WWE TV. Think about that for a second. We're talking about a game that's predicated to an age group between ages 7 to 16, and they can make better stories in today's landscape than WWE.
Wait, hold on. I can enjoy the game right now. I'm a lot older than 16.
Man, please, I'm sick of I'm sick of SmackDown vs. Raw. I'm done with that game. All right, but
Hey, listen,
I'm done with that game.
I actually just got an emulator, a PS2 emulator, so I'm playing all the old games now.
Wow.
Wait. Yeah. Side note, let me get that. You know what? Side note, I'll get that later. I want that.
We'll talk
Lucky
about
you.
that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. I need that too.
It's
All right,
sick,
I need that. But like,
sick.
Well, I can imagine.
But with the fan fatigue, we know we can't. The fans cannot be underestimated because as a fan, quite recently I went to a Monday Night Raw in Brooklyn, ladies and gentlemen. I went to the first Raw of 2026 in Brooklyn, in which Braun Breaker was supposed to be World Heavyweight Champion, and they did not pull the trigger. The fact that due to the lack of fan fatigue, and they're making decisions like that, no matter the show, from this day forward, that fan has every God-given ability of not spending their hard-earned money to see a show, because at the end of the day, it's not worth it anymore. Like, Kenny, you said it best, man. Vince had a roster, you say 15, out 30 deep, that could possibly main event Mania. We're talking about the men and the females, right? That could main event WrestleMania.
Right. I forgot about the women. You absolutely right. Mm-hmm. I talked about the men. The women had like 10 deep.
Yup.
Yeah, they do.
Guys, we're not just talking about WrestleMania. We're talking about any pay-per-view, anyone, and its box office. Because Vince knows how to use his superstars. It's just like what we say in football and basketball, Kenny. You too, Abba. In football, you have 53 guys. I have depth in my roster. If someone is out, I got someone coming in. The fatigue in me, speaking as a fan, could look at the WWE product and be like, yo, y'all ain't worth a damn. I'd rather go someplace else to spend my hard-earned money, which is deservingly so, rather than go to a Raw, a SmackDown, or any pay-per-view show and not featuring the superstars that must be shown or isn't being produced properly in that show. Guys, do you realize when I went to Monday Night Raw, there was only 2 matches? Two in a 3-hour show, 2 to 3 hour show.
We've been getting more and more of that.
Exactly.
Raw lately, huh?
Raw, and to some degree SmackDown too, bro. Because Kenny said a great point. You're not using your depth. You're not using your roster. You're not using the quality of superstars that you have to extend the show to its lengthy length that needs to go to.
Sure they do, Ricardo. What are you talking about? They use their stars very efficiently. You know,
please.
It's wait, hold on. I'm going to say something. They use their stars very efficiently. What are you talking about, man? Those moments, those aura moments, bro. Those moments for the hype packages, for the promos, for the video packages, everything, man. For the social media clips. How do you think they're going to get 50 million impressions?
Man, please. They would think that they were getting promoted in a job, and you'll still think that they're promoted. Man, please. They ain't doing work. If it was somebody, if someone's mom was there, she would be promoted. Then half of the women's roster that would be in the goddamn promotion and be promoted on Raw. Man, please, they're
No,
using.
but you know what I mean, bro.
Of course,
Everything's
of course.
everything's about the moment.
It's
Everything's
just,
about aura farming.
it's just so alarming. It's like if Triple H, if Hunter Hearst Helmsley was in my face, I'll punch him in the face. I'm like, bro, what the hell are you doing? That's how much fan fatigue that I have. Go ahead, Kenny. Go ahead, man. I almost ranted. I'm sorry.
It was.
It was not.
I am not here to change your mind or anything like that. But let me tell you this. You cannot tell me out of the let's pick 30 out of the 30 years that Vince was in power.
40.
40 years. How many of them were like shit, like really, really bad? Go ahead.
Exactly.
There was a good amount of them here and there.
You want me to tell you?
Okay. No, hold on. Was 20 years bad?
Was 20 of those years bad, you're asking?
Yeah. Out of the 40 years that Vince was in power, was 20 of those years bad? No. I don't think 20 years.
Yeah,
out of the
I'll give you that.
40 years
I'll give you that.
was bad. Was 15 of those years bad? Okay. 10?
Okay.
I'll take 10.
You can
10,
argue that. Yeah,
10,
you can argue that.
yes.
So I'm in power.
Like 10 to 15 maybe.
I'm in power. Let's say 12 for the sake of argument, okay?
For reference.
Let's
Yes.
say 12 years of the 40 years that's still very good.
Mm-hmm.
That is still very good. Okay? You can't bat 1,000. I'm sorry. You cannot, in anything that you do in life, you cannot bat 1,000. Some people are special, right? But in this business, you cannot bat 1,000. And I'm not saying that Triple H should have been batting 1,000 from jump. I'm simply saying that the mediocrity and the lack of urgency that we have gotten in our storylines have been shit. Vince's storylines, that was the issue with them. But he didn't have any issues creating new stars. Okay? He had zero issues. Think about that for a second. Over 40 years, this man he had problems with the storylines. Okay? The storylines were the issue, not the stars. There were plenty of stars. And what I'm telling you is that you can't have both be bad. You can't have bad storylines and lack of stars. And that's what we have right now. You can't say that's not true. Okay? Vince had one or the other or both.
Kenny, let me ask you. I guess we're on this topic. I just got to ask. Kenny,
Absolutely.
when do you think, in your honest opinion, was Vince's last good year creatively? The overall product.
The last year when he left.
The last year when he left was a good year?
Yep. When he got forced out. Creatively?
I don't think. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
What do you think, Abba? What do you think, Abba?
I think it's a good farther back than that. Honestly, if I had to really think about it, it's like either probably like 2016 if I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
Because I remember all those years right after, like everything he was 2016 I would say, probably the last good year.
So I think that's fair, but when Roman got in, the booking got a little better. It got better. When the tribal chief got back in, the storylines got better.
Yes.
Yeah, his storylines got better. The people he was feuding with. So the top major storylines, yes, they were covered for the most part.
And
but everything else I'm talking about.
The women's storylines got better.
Yeah.
Was pretty good too.
Yeah.
It got better too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe the mid card, right, wasn't all that great. Okay. Maybe that's pretty much what you're trying to say, like from top to bottom.
Probably, yeah, but that's still like a decent chunk of the product.
Right. But if you have listen, Abba, it ain't 1994 no more. Nobody watches the show for the fucking Intercontinental Championship belt. Okay? And I get it. It's a story championship belt. It has prestige and everything. But we got to be honest with ourselves here. This business isn't what it used to be anymore. They don't give a fuck
for sure.
about the United States Championship belt anymore. Okay? Unless the top guy is holding it. The last time we actually gave a shit about it was
Gunther.
Cena.
No, Gunther.
I'm talking about the United States
US title.
Oh, US title. Okay, my fault. I thought you said Intercontinental title.
Okay. And then Gunther, yeah. But outside of those two are the extremes. Those two are the exception to the rule.
Right.
Because we have an exception to the rule doesn't make it the rule. And the rule is the mid-card championship belt has sucked. So I am not putting any stock into grading you as the effectiveness of your booking skills does not include the mid-card title because it hasn't for the past 20 years. You look at any promotion, they don't really put that much stock into their mid-card title. AEW doesn't. TNA probably doesn't. I mean, outside of those, New Japan, when was the last? I mean, maybe when Kenny Omega held it, you know, that, or when Jon Moxley had their United States Championship belt. Like, that was years ago,
True.
right? There are, like, we have to be honest with ourselves here. It used to be, if your mid-card is good, right, then you can build a really, really resounding show. Like, you'll have a great show. Now it's, if your main event for the women's and men are great, now you can have a good show, because everything revolves around that. And the last time that happened was this last year.
Yeah. So I wanna let me help you out. Let me help you out, Abba, to buffer Kenny's point. So his last year was based off the last idea that he had was the tribal chief, the 4 years of Roman Reigns. And if you look back at that era, every rivalry, mid-card, women's, whatever, actually revolved around Roman.
Sure,
and each one, you could tell. So the fact that we're talking about tag team, mid-card, women's, each one, not only, obviously, everyone came to see Roman Reigns, but because of the mantra of Roman Reigns, we're going to see on how the women could be on par with Roman, and then the tag team, and then you got the mid-card. They all work together in unison. Right, so the fact, making Kenny's point in terms of the 4 years, which was actually the last time Vince was fully in creative, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about 2019. Was it 2019 or 2020 that he was in power?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
22. That was the last time he was in power.
Okay, so what that means, from 2019 to 2022, those were the last 4 years. Yup.
So
of Vince.
Yeah, like to Ricardo's point, Abba, a rising tide lifts all boats. Roman was a rising tide.
Yeah.
He lifted everyone.
Everyone.
Literally everyone. There can be absolutely no debate as to what he did in that era. And I'm not saying it fell all on Vince, but it was because of Vince that happened.
Yes.
If Vince didn't want Roman Reigns or the tribal chief, we weren't getting it. Okay? It took a lot.
Right, his back was against the wall with the COVID stuff.
With COVID and everything. So they needed to pivot, right? And we have to give credit where it's due. And my thing is this. If Roman was the rising tide that lifted all the boats, you may not give too much credence, at least maybe as much as you would into Roman's feud as you would any other feud on the card. I'm not saying you cared about Liv Morgan's feud as much as you did about Roman's feud. That's not what I'm saying. I'm simply saying you were there to see Roman, and Roman was a byproduct of you staying to watch Liv, right?
Yeah.
Watch Rhea, watch Kevin Owens, watch Randy Orton, right?
Yeah.
Watch The Fiend.
Everyone.
Right? Like, he was a catalyst for all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Because we felt so much that if Roman was on this card, it was going to be great.
Yeah.
It was going to be great.
Yeah. So he had the Cena. And think about it, the last, before him, it was Cena. And then before Cena, it was Austin. Those type of effects that transcended everybody to lift it. But I personally think that two things could be true in terms of how the WWE creative is messing up the lack of ticket sales, and the fan fatigue that's messing up the lack of ticket sales due to how fans are being underestimated, and the lack of direction that WWE creative has. But now we switch gears to AEW. Now, I think we could all agree right now that the AEW World Champion MJF is the best heel in wrestling, right? I think we could all agree there, right? The way that this man is conducted himself as a much more of a box office attraction right now is something that, and he is someone that AEW needed desperately after the whole CM Punk debacle, okay? And AEW took him a while to get back to that precedence. Now for MJF, he's the most box office attraction in AEW, and he's the best heel in AEW. But the fact that he's the best heel right now, I personally believe, and I'm saying this, and I know how much you love Randy Orton, bro. 2009. I know how much you love 2009 Randy Orton. Side note, ladies and gentlemen, King Kenny is the biggest Randy Orton fan I know.
I think my brother disagrees with that, but okay.
Nah, it's Kenny. It's Kenny. Nah, it's Kenny.
Listen.
That's
cute and all. Mike is way too young. Mike is way too young to understand this. Okay. He's way too young to understand this. Much respect to Mike. I love Mike, but nah.
Yeah. Okay. Is it just like Kanye?
So as a side note, I had to have you guys say that just so we can see this later. But yeah,
because
I'll let you know what he says.
Kenny, it's just like
Please.
Yeah.
West said. He ain't Ralph though. So you feel me?
It ain't Ralph though. It
It
ain't
ain't
no
Ralph
Ralph
though.
though.
I personally believe, guys, that MJF could surpass Randy Orton as a heel when he was in 2009. Right now, hear me out. Right, this is what I personally believe. We haven't had a heel like this in a long time. Right, I'm not counting Logan Paul because obviously he didn't really race from the product, born bred superstar coming in. So I'm excluding him as a heel. Okay. Right, but in terms of MJF, the reason why I'm saying that is because when I look at MJF, he's the number one box office attraction on AEW. He's number one. He feels real and he doesn't feel scripted or sound scripted when we see him. Once he talks, we listen. If I were to compare him to 2009 Randy Orton and to MJF today, MJF is a better talker on the mic than Randy Orton. He has more skills than Randy Orton today than Randy Orton had back then. Face to face. Yes, I'm saying it. He turns
Hold on. In terms of skills? In terms of skills, are you talking about in-ring skills?
In-ring skills. Yes, I'm saying it.
I'm feeling so many things right now.
And he actually hates the crowd, right? He commits to the character and he doesn't break the character, right? In terms of what MJF does. I'm not saying Randy Orton never did that. Of course he never did that, obviously, right? But what I'm saying is in terms of the superstars that he's facing today, in terms of the in-ring skills that AEW has, because I personally believe AEW has better superstars from a wrestling standpoint than than he has, right? I personally believe that, right? Now, yes, you would think like, yo, Randy Orton fought Shawn Michaels, John Cena, Jeff Hardy, Batista, Triple H. I know, fix your face. I'm only saying this due to the fact that in terms of his competition, I feel like the wrestlers in terms of skill-wise are better, right? I'm not saying they're better superstars overall. I'm
No,
saying
yeah, that's a different conversation. Yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
That's in-ring skills. They're better today, right? What I'm saying is this. Based on the competition that MJF has in AEW, he's the number one box office attraction, and he's the headliner at AEW, in which back then in 2009, Randy Orton wasn't the headliner in Raw or WWE. It was Jeff Hardy and John Cena in 2008, 2009. Let that be clear. I personally think with the run MJF has, I think he could possibly surpass, and I think later on he can surpass 2009 Randy Orton.
Okay, so you're saying he hasn't surpassed career-wise.
Career-wise,
right
no.
now.
I'm saying
Okay.
later. I think he can.
But you're arguing he's a better heel.
No, he's the best heel in the modern day era, right? I didn't say right now. I'm saying like, yo, I think he can be a better heel than 2009 Randy Orton.
Can be.
Yes.
Are you
I
done?
thought he already surpassed him in your opinion.
Oh no, I never said that. No.
Are you done?
Yes, I'm done. I'm done.
Here's what MJF has to do in order to surpass Randy Orton as the best heel in the game, at least ever. Okay. See, Randy wasn't just the best heel of his time. He's the greatest heel we have ever seen. MJF is not even a better heel than Ric Flair right now.
Thank you. I actually agree with that.
Okay.
I actually agree with that. Yeah. You realize if you really pay attention, just to piggyback what Kenny said about the Ric Flair thing, MJF is like, he wears a lot of influences on his sleeve. He really does. One of which is, and the most obvious one is Ric Flair. Just look at the way he bumps and sells in his matches for his opponents. It's very Ric Flair light. It really is.
Okay.
And his promo styles as well. It's a lot. He borrows a lot of things from Rick himself.
From Rick, yeah.
That's fine.
Listen, with all due respect, and look, we said this like 5 years ago on this show. You remember when we were talking about how great MJF was? And he was like, we put 5 years ago, we put him over
Omega.
Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Right? When we saw MJF's greatness, we knew, oh yeah, this is guy. There's no question about it. Kenny Omega, oh, it's him. He's the guy. We both knew it. So we're big MJF fans. So let's get that out of the way first.
Yes.
All due respect to MJF, man. But he is the best wrestler on a B-rated show. Randy was one of the best in the world on the show. I'm sorry. There are levels to this, bro. There are levels to this. There is absolutely nothing right now that MJF is doing, right, that strikes fear into his opponents. They think he's an asshole. They want to fucking punch him in the face, right? Let's contrast that to what Randy did. When Randy walked into a room, you feared him. You knew that when Randy walked in, he was going to fuck somebody up. He was probably going to put you in a hospital bed, right? Your favorite wrestlers feared him, okay?
Good
You
way
want
of
to talk
putting it.
about kicking? You want to talk about kicking the boss on the fucking head and his son, RKOing his daughter in front of her husband, kissing her boss in front of
Yo, MJF is not doing
the
that.
top
My
guy, the
God.
guy in the company. His father got him over the fucking barricade, kicked him in the head. What are we bro? What are we talking about here?
Bro,
Okay.
What are
I
we?
Okay.
What,
Wait,
no,
wait,
no,
okay.
no.
Okay.
What,
Okay.
no, no, no,
Okay.
no, no,
Let me.
no.
you're right. You're right. You're right.
What are we talking about here, bro? They are not playing by the same rules. Listen, MJF being the top guy on AEW and Randy being the top guy on WWE are two different things. Randy is playing on a different level. AEW is not even close. You think 2009 Randy Orton can't go to AEW and be a bigger star than MJF?
Yes, he can.
Of course. So they're not playing by the same rules, brother. They're on a completely different playing field. It's not even close. If you switch 2009 Randy Orton with MJF today, AEW would be bigger than what it is right now. And that is a fact. That is how big, that is how lethal Randy Orton was as a heel. So with all due respect to MJF, and I love MJF, I love everything he's doing, but they are not the same. They are not playing by the same field. And I know you didn't say they're the same, but Randy, that motherfucker right there, your favorite wrestlers were scared of him. They were scared about what he was going to do to them. Legends couldn't even walk in the backstage area without looking over their shoulders. This is the kind of thing that we got to talk about when we talk about 09 Randy Orton. We got to put some respect on this man's name. The greatest heel God has ever created. Don't forget
Something
that.
to be said about it. I will
Take it
say.
around.
Let me say one more thing, and then we can move on. But MJF has said a lot of heinous things. We can all agree there. Like, he said a lot of
Yes.
fucked up shit over the years in his time at AEW. Like, what did he say a few weeks ago to Brody King? Their first promo segment together. He said something like, "Oh, you're the most liberal looking Nazi I've ever met in my life." Like, that was a pretty good one liner. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that got a nice reaction out of me. I can never deny that. MJF is known for his one-liners and like, just like, his effed up stuff that he says to a lot of people, to his opponents. That being said, he doesn't do a lot of heinous actions the same way that Randy Orton is well known for in one particular the entirety of his career. Like, punting your boss in the head, DDTing his daughter, like Kenny said, and then planting a kiss on her in front of her husband, Triple H. Like, MJF has not done anything in that regard.
Anything.
Like, it doesn't even come close. He said a lot of fucked up shit, but he hasn't done anything like that. That's why it's like, there's like, I'm gonna steal it from him. There's levels to this shit.
I understand that, bro. Okay. The reason why I'm saying this because I look at it like this. I'm gonna start with the competition. The competition at AEW in the main event scene, obviously, is big time, right? I got Omega, I got Swerve, I got Paige, I got Will Ospreay, just to name a few, right? Skill wise, only in the ring, not star power. The AEW guys are better. If he has a repertoire beating those guys, he's on his way to become a big time heel. Another thing is that, like, I brought this up earlier, Randy Orton was not the top guy at the time in 2009. It was John Cena.
But what did I say?
And it was Jeff Hardy.
What did I say in rebuttal to that? I said Randy Orton. Okay,
Yeah.
Randy was a top guy. He wasn't
A top
the
guy, not the top guy. Yes.
He wasn't the top guy, but he was a top guy.
Yes.
Randy being 09 Randy being on WWE as a top guy is much better than MJF being the top guy on AEW. Why is that? Because the WWE is much, much harder to be successful in that promotion than it is as a top guy than AEW, because the barrier for AEW is a lot less. Like, the barrier of entry for AEW is a lot like you don't answer to the same level caliber people that you answer to in the WWE. WWE is much more mainstream, which leads me to believe that if it's more mainstream, wouldn't it be much more difficult to be successful, right? AEW doesn't have the same, and MJF said it in his interview with CVV. He said the leeway to be able to do the things that I'm doing right now, I would not be able to get away with that on a WWE TV. He said it. So if we're sitting here, right, and saying that on the trajectory that MJF is on, right, that he might surpass Randy someday, well, we got to look at it from a different perspective, from a different lens, and say, well, if Randy was working without restrictions, right? If '09 Randy Orton was working without restrictions, what the fuck was he going to do? He was working with restrictions, and he took out the whole fucking roster.
Yeah.
What the fuck did you think '09 Randy Orton without restrictions is going to do? Like, bro, let's like this and I love this conversation, and I love what we're attacking here. But Randy he's on a different level, and I don't think heels will ever get to that level again because of the
workload he's done.
No, not that. But the playing field that the WWE has created over the past 2-3 years or so, right? It's gotten to a point where heels like that, I don't think will be appreciated enough for the work that they do, right? Their TV, like they want their TV to look a certain way, right? So I don't think that we'll ever see a heel Randy Orton like that again. I don't think that will ever be replicated again.
Okay. No, we agree there.
MJF plays without any restrictions on AEW. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Randy played with a lot of restrictions on WWE '09. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Switch them. What do you think happens?
Yikes.
Orton will go nuclear. I ain't gonna lie.
Now
I can't front.
He already went nuclear. He already went nuclear with restrictions. So what happens when he's already nuclear and then you put him in an unrestricted zone?
But if we switch him and I put MJF and WWE facing those Hall of Famers, obviously he will hold his own against most people.
Guess what? But guess what though?
He'll beat him too. He could beat him.
Yeah. But he can't say the same shit he's been saying though.
Wait, hold up.
MJF cannot
in 2009.
Right. In 2000, no, he can't say the same shit he has been saying. In 2009.
In 2009, wait, they got to PG in 2010. It
2008.
2008? Okay. Oh, wow, that's a big deal. All right, go ahead. I honestly thought it was later. Go ahead.
So does
okay.
that change?
I will say, though, I get what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Considering he was able to get away with a lot of that stuff.
Does that change? See, MJF, right? And what I love about MJF is cool and all, but his actions, right? His actions is the weakest thing about him as a heel. Randy's actions is the strongest thing about him as a heel. Okay? These two are not the same.
They're two different heels.
Right.
They're two different heels.
Right.
Walk the walk, right? If you talk the talk, you're going to have to be able to walk the walk, right? Randy is not much of a talker, but what he does, his actions speak louder than his words. MJF's words speak louder than his actions. MJF ain't about that life. MJF was not about that life, okay?
Yeah, and we can even say, like, Randy Orton, at the end of the day, he's never been the strongest promo guy. Like, he knows, like, how to hype people up and how to build a match pretty, like, decently well, but nobody's going to look at him as, like, a top-tier storyteller on the mic, like a CM Punk or a Cena. Nope. It was always about the action with him.
Hey, but look, but for people who was on the mic, if you're, as what I always say, if you ain't talking, I ain't watching. This man on the mic could carry his own against most of it. And as a box attraction of a heel that he is in terms of MJF, he could get very far. So based on your point, Kenny, if I just switch him, I think MJF would dominate that too. Now, I understand what you're saying in terms of how the company would rise higher in AEW versus WWE if you switch them. And I understand that point. But I'm not talking from a company standpoint. Right, I'm talking from individual standpoint, and I never said, people, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not talking about right now. I'm not talking about now. I'm saying later on, can he be the best heel since '09 Randy Orton?
No.
I think he can. No. Okay, I think he can.
No, because you basically proved my point.
I think he can.
There's someone that could do a. You just said there's someone right now, right?
Yes.
Well, actually. The person that we're talking about, you just said '09 Randy could do a better job on AEW television than MJF can as a heel right now. You said it.
I did, but that doesn't. I understand.
See, that proves hold up. That proves my point, not yours. That proves my point. If '09 Randy can do a better job than MJF right now on AEW television, What does that say about MJF when it pertains to Randy Orton? It says that MJF is not better than 09 Randy. And there's nothing he could do right now that can
Obviously not now.
Okay. Ever. Because think about it. What's MJF going to do? Let's talk about what MJF has to do to surpass Randy Orton. He has to do something that's worse than what Randy did in the WWE in order to surpass him. I don't see that happening. I'm sorry. I just don't. Unless you're sitting here telling me that throughout MJF's career, right, he's going to do some more heinous shit than Randy's done in 2009, then you got me. I'll defer to you on that. But I don't see it. Do you see it happening? Do you think MJF is capable of that?
Okay.
Yes,
So
I honestly think he can.
Well, he hasn't.
I think he can.
What has he done? What has he done? Right? What has he done to give you that notion that he could do something much more heinous than what Randy has done in 2000?
Because Abba said it best to two different heels and they move differently. So if I got a guy talk talk on the mic better as a heel than the other, obviously his repertoire as a heel will go up.
Wrong.
And plus his heel run,
just
started. His heel run just started.
He's always been a heel. What are you talking about?
Bro.
No, I'm talking about this run. Run.
What are you talking about? This run? What's this run?
Okay.
When he was champion?
Come on, Ricardo.
Yes, this run.
I mean, okay, but he's always been like he's always been more or less a heel, though.
Dick. So what are you talking about?
Yeah, he's always been.
Because in this run, he's the number one superstar in AEW. He wasn't like that back then in terms of in AEW when he was a heel. He wasn't like that.
Ricardo, let me explain something to you here, buddy. Okay? Let me explain something to you. And I'm going to be really, really, really loud and clear about this. Okay? MJF, this is Randy, 09 Randy. This is MJF. Right now, you agree. Right now, do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. In order for MJF, this guy, right? Randy's already done. We're not in 09 anymore, okay?
Yeah.
09 Randy's already done. 09 Randy can't do anything anymore because it's not 09. So this is his best. This is the highest 09 Randy's gonna be, right? MJF is right here. In order for this MJF or like to surpass this Randy Orton, he has to meet him, right?
Yes.
And then he has to go over him, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, 09 Randy, this guy has done some despicable shit. The most despicable shit that we've ever seen any motherfucker do. He is the lowest of the lowest human that has ever fucking graced the fucking squared circle, okay? No one will ever be as despicable as him, at least until MJF came along, in your opinion, correct? So you think MJF can surpass that guy. And in order for MJF to surpass that guy, he has to be the most despicable human that has ever graced the square circle. Am I correct so far?
Yes.
Okay. What has MJF done so far in his heel run, right? Right? Besides what he said, what has he done action-wise for you to believe that he could be the lowest, most despicable human to have ever graced the square circle? What has he done to anyone to make you feel like that?
So what I got is like he whipped Cody at the time when he was a heel in front of his folks. He did that.
That was a match. That was a match.
No, that was a segment.
That was
a
angle.
segment.
That was an angle. Yeah.
Wasn't that
No, that's not a match.
That was the lead up to the match they had at Revolution that year.
Yeah, that was not a match.
Okay, so that was so hold up. That was despicable?
Yes.
That was kind of fucked up, I'm not gonna lie.
Absolutely.
If I had listen,
Like,
hold on.
in order for you to face me at the pay-per-view, like if you want a match out of me, I have to lash you 10 times in the center of the ring in front of your friends and loved ones.
Time out. If I had $1 for every time someone whooped Cody Rhodes with his fucking belt, okay, that's just been played out. Fuck that. What's next? Because that's not going to surpass Randy Orton.
Wait.
Not necessarily. No.
Okay,
No. That's not it. So listen. That doing that in a match is one thing. Fine, I'll give you that. But that was like a stipulation. If you want to fight me, you have to accept this rule that you have to let me whip you 10 times.
Yes.
Okay.
That's kind of different.
Okay. His wife,
but I'm telling
his wife and kids were there.
I'm telling you, that is not enough to surpass 09 Randy Orton. So what's
Okay,
next?
Wait,
I'm not-
wait,
I'm
hold
not
on.
debating
You
that. I'm
asked
not
me,
debating
time out. You asked me, what has he done? I brought that up, and you're a man who's not accepting what he's done that dashly, and which it was
I accept it.
dastardly.
I accept it. But do you
Okay,
think
then.
that's enough? That's enough to bring him up to 09 Randy?
No, it's not. No.
Obviously not, because
It is. It
So
is a
what
heinous
else?
thing, though.
So what else?
It is pretty
So
heinous,
he's
though.
in his heel run. He's only done one thing that's despicable
Okay,
enough, right, to be talked about.
Wait.
Really?
Okay, wait, Kenny,
That's
Kenny,
it?
Kenny. Hold on. I'm remembering something. I think it was MJF, if I'm not, and you guys could correct me. Several years ago on an episode of Dynamite, he once, what the hell was it? I'm pretty sure he was the one. He took someone's beer out of their hands and he just like chucked it right at them. And apparently everybody was up in arms about it backstage, and the kid's mom as well, because he poured it on the poor kid. So it was a small kid.
Oh yeah, he did.
I
He
remember
did.
that story.
That was a
pretty-
segment.
That
was a segment too.
because nobody expected it. It wasn't part of
Yeah,
the script.
It wasn't scripted. It was also a segment during his promo. I remember that.
I would consider that.
Yeah,
So-
like he didn't do
Look
anything
like-
to kids.
Dennis is trying to
hold up.
process.
He didn't do anything to kids.
Hold up. That's not even in the realm of the show. That was something he decided to do.
But that's part of his character.
It was
though.
a segment. It was
that's
it
something
was part
he
of his
did as a
character.
character.
Okay, hold up. If we're talking about something that if we're talking about something that a wrestler can do to a fan that's not in the realm of the show, that has nothing to do with the show whatsoever, then sure, fine. But I don't think that it's fair, right, to go there, because that's not part of the show. It's not.
No. I'm not. You're not getting away with that.
It's not.
I can kind of see. I'm not gonna lie.
You see what I'm saying, right, Abba?
I kind of see where you're coming from now.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I get it.
Because
But you
think
can.
about
I
it.
can argue. You can argue both sides. But yes, I kind of get where you're coming
It's
from.
despicable, but it's not in the realm of a match or a segment. So
It was in the segment.
No, bro. It
But
was not scripted.
It wasn't scripted. Yeah, he was something he just did off the cuff.
It was not
It was
scripted.
something he
He
did off
wasn't
the cuff.
supposed to do that. It would be like
I mean,
Randy
listen,
going up to a
listen.
fan and slapping
Yeah.
him. He could
I
get
mean, listen,
he
it
could
would
get
make
fucking
him. It
sued
would
for
make
that.
him more of a. It would exactly. It would make him more of a piece of shit, and we would hate him more.
Yes,
But it would be
But
like, it's a
that's not-
sticky situation, though. It's not part of the show.
That's right. Like it has to be like Randy walking up to legends, right? Rolling up into their fucking dressing room, right? Turning off the light, putting off the night goggles, and whooping their asses, right? That was scripted. I'm talking about like that.
Okay, but besides those 2 points, and
Okay.
I don't even know if the second one counts.
I don't
but
even. No,
I
the
don't-
second one doesn't even.
other than that-
count,
other than that,
because
I
it's
don't-
not part of.
I
Exactly.
think it
wasn't even-
counts. I think
No,
it
no,
counts.
you think
if
you thought wrong.
you think it counts, then great. If
You
it
thought wrong.
counts, then more power to you. But I'm starting
honestly,
to see what Kenny's
that's
saying.
still
now.
right, but that's still not enough. That's still not enough. You got to give me more. MJF has to do more. And you're saying you did say that he has to do more. You did say that, but
I said
He
that.
does,
Yes.
he does have a lot of.
the
He has a lot,
trajectory,
because
but the
right now-
trajectory
beca-
that he's going,
Mhm.
the trajectory that he's going in, it's not going to be enough, man. It's not. It's not, because he would have to do the worst shit, worse than Randy, and none of the stuff that he did was worse than Randy. He has to be worse than Randy. Like he can't be just as good as Randy. No. He has to be worse than him. You have to do you understand that? You gotta be worse than Randy. You can't just be as good as him.
That's a Herculean
gotta be-
task. I'll say that.
Yes, you gotta be worse than him. So if you're telling me MJF at this stage in his career was a worse heel than Randy at this stage of his career, that's not true. Rated RKO, I'll give you that. Anything that Randy did in Rated RKO was worse than what anything MJF is currently doing right now. And that's just Rated RKO.
Hey, look, man. What I would say is this. I did say MJF has to do more. MJF has done despicable things so far in his career. He's still he's number one box office attraction in AEW.
He's done a despicable thing.
You and I think differently. I think he did some. You think he did one. Right?
It's not canon.
But move. All right,
It ain't canon.
Okay, bro. To each his own.
Each his own, bro.
I think he can do it.
It's canon.
I think he can do it.
It's canon.
We're moving on.
It's canon.
I think we're moving on. I think it is. Yeah, I'm doing a Stone Cold head roll. I think it is. Okay? Right? So, moving on. We'll debate this till the cows come home. Right? Now, last segment. Going to Drew McIntyre.
Nobody was budging there. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Right? But Drew McIntyre, right? Now, I want your all opinion. We both know in night 2 of WrestleMania, going back to Drew McIntyre, that Punk and Roman is the headliner for WrestleMania. Obviously, for the entirety of the whole night of both nights for WrestleMania. In your opinion, right? Abba and Kenny, in your opinion, what match should Drew McIntyre have to combat night 2 of Punk and Roman.
I'll just say it. I'll just do a 6-pack Hell in a Cell match or some shit like that. 6-pack Hell in a Cell,
I love the way you
Armageddon,
think.
a la
I was
Armageddon
thinking the
2000.
same thing.
Armageddon is it wishful thinking? Absolutely. It's one of the most biggest signs of wishful thinking I've ever come up with as my days as a potential booker, which is never going to happen, but whatever. A la Armageddon 2000, the way they did it with the WWF title in that main event, for the main event of that pay-per-view, you had 6 of your biggest stars, well, 5 and Rikishi at the time. And you just went all out. Do the same thing for WrestleMania. You have McIntyre defend the chip against Cody, Sammy, Jacob Fatu. What's his name?
Randy.
Yes, Randy Orton, and
I'll put Trick in there.
yeah, I mean, I guess if you want. I mean, I have him fighting Carmelo Hayes for the U.S. title personally.
Oh man, please. Trick is box office. Be with the big dogs.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, he's a star on the rise for sure. With the reactions he's getting, but if you don't want to put Trick, to make it a 5-way, whatever, 5-way, 6-way, doesn't matter. Do it inside Hell in a Cell. Have it main event night 1. Go all out. Go crazy with it. We need something like that. This is what this product is sorely lacking right now. This sense of unpredictability, this chaos, like mayhem. Nothing can be controlled. Nobody can be contained. Let's do that, and honestly, a world championship scene needs that right now. So
Yes.
that's my idea. Just do it.
Abba, you see, this is why I fucks with you, man. I had the same exact idea, bro. You
Did
see?
you?
Yeah, I
No
really
way.
did. I really did, bro.
You had the same exact idea. Wow.
It's same exact one, bro. Because
Okay.
like we haven't seen an Armageddon Hell in a Cell since 2000, right?
Way overdue.
Exactly, right? And I'm like, and you said it best, bro. The 6 best superstars in the game: Orton, McIntyre, Rhodes, Jacob, Trick, Sami Zayn. 6 guys, all gunning for the WWE Championship, and everybody wins. Everybody wins in that style of match. It's because it's a collision course gunning for the WWE title, in which how you and I thought about it, then WWE Creative thought about it, or couldn't think about it for a possible WrestleMania match. We thought about it in seconds. They can't think about that shit in months or weeks.
Right, but even then, it's just, admittedly, as fans of the product, it's fantasy booking. But I do agree with you there.
Hey, but bro, sometimes fantasy booking could work.
I'm not saying it can't. But listen, there's been plenty of times between the 3 of us here on the show that we would hear other fans' idea, like how they would book if they had the pen for these shows. And honestly, I'm kind of glad they were never involved in that.
Because those fans don't know what they're talking about. They don't study the game like the 3 of us do. They don't see it systemically the way that we do. We know ball, the 3 of us, right? But what we're seeing on the current product of SmackDown right now, it's a straight collision course for the WWE title, and you gotta run with it, right? With those 6 guys I just mentioned, everybody wins, and it creates future storylines for the rest of the year with those 6 guys to carry out throughout the year of SmackDown.
So I think in the first history of this show, we actually agree for once, all 3 of us.
Yeah. Wow.
This format would create new stars.
Yes.
And I think that's what's sorely lacking here. Jacob Fatu needs it. Trick Williams needs it as well.
Yep.
You know, Randy, vet guy, you can trust him. And then you got Cody, you got Drew, and then I'm forgetting someone else, right?
Sami Zayn.
Sammy needs it too.
Badly.
And what I like about it is that you don't really know which direction they're gonna go with it. You know, they
Yes.
can go safe and they can have Cody win it again. God, please, I hope not.
Please don't.
I hope that's not the case.
It's happening.
Yeah,
The inevitable is upon us.
yeah, most likely. But I would love to see Trick win it. Okay,
Hell yeah.
let's just
yeah.
talk about Trick for a
Wow.
minute. This is probably the greatest. He probably has the greatest debut in terms of fan engagement I've ever seen since Shinsuke Nakamura. Okay.
You're saying on the main roster.
Yes, on the main roster.
That's an interesting take.
That's
Okay.
interesting take. I feel like I have someone, but you might be onto something.
You know, when Shinsuke walked out, right?
Mm-hmm.
The engagement was there from a fan perspective. Like you they were really invested, right? Not only in his entrance, but in the personality of who he is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trick has that too. In spades, is a great promo. His in-ring style works perfectly, right? He has that old school aura about him, right? With the new school, he's like a hybrid of both. You can relate to him. Either way you decide to go, like he's him. Like he's 100% unadulterated him, right? We don't have a lot of that going on in the main roster currently, and the fans are behind him. He's basically what LA Knight wishes he is.
That hurts me. That's so factual, man. Oh, that hurts me.
And I love LA Knight.
Damn,
Yeah.
you're and he,
But Trick is younger. I believe he's a better promo. His in-ring style just works. I don't know, guys.
he's hungry.
I don't know, guys. That's just me, and that's just what I see so far.
Like, for me, the match would work in spades because I feel like we need a break for Cody Rhodes. Because,
Cody Rhodes fatigue.
like, for
This
the,
is the break.
no,
This is the break.
I wouldn't,
We need
I
a
don't
longer
really,
break. We need a longer
Yeah.
yeah,
I get you guys.
because the Cody Rhodes dynamic is really exhausting. It's like, you know, when you get tired of seeing a star, like, I'm like, just go away. Go someplace else. Cody Rhodes is like that ex-girlfriend that can't leave you alone after a bad breakup. That's Cody Rhodes right now, right? And it's like, I'm like, dude, go somewhere right now.
This
I
reminds me a
don't
lot
want to
of this reminds me a lot of Big Dog Roman over there for a good 5 years.
Oh yeah,
we
the
don't
big
know
dog.
him.
Yeah,
The big
yeah.
yeah,
The big
that's
dog,
true.
yes.
The
But-
big dog.
yeah,
Roman.
but-
that's
This is
we don't know.
I'm bringing
We
back
don't know.
too much PTSD over here, man.
No, that
oh yeah.
Abba, that was not Big Dog Roman. That was Joe. Okay, that was Joe. Let that be clear. That was Joe. Okay, so, but the fact of the matter is, the fresh face, because like it worked for. Kenny brought up Trick, which was a great point. It brings up Sami Zayn because after what we saw this past SmackDown, okay, Sami Zayn reminds me. I'm talking about the character dynamic in which they're completely doing so bad right now. I don't know if y'all remember this. Do you remember? I'm using John Cena as an example. Do you remember when the loss after John Cena had after The Rock, the first one, the first match, right? And Brock Lesnar came back. And you see how John Cena was in a downward spiral to some degree, not entirely, but he was on a downward spiral that year. The way I'm looking at Sami Zayn, I'm looking at John Cena at that aspect because the way Sami Zayn is being portrayed, it's so bad right now. I can't even look at Sami Zayn as a worthy competitor, right? To a point where it took Edge at that year to come out the woodworks to elevate John Cena's character. If you want to elevate Sami Zayn's character, if it was me, I'll bring back Kevin Owens, just have a talk similar to what Edge did to John Cena, right? You need something to pick up Sami Zayn.
I feel like I know what Kenny's gonna say, but
That's just me because I'm a Sami Zayn fan.
I'll just be a precursor to what he's gonna say. So
My thing is,
listen to
they
this, bro.
need help.
Just listen. I get what you're saying. They need all the help in the world. They need all the help they can get. But here's my problem. Sami Zayn had loss after loss after loss. It's to a point where he's never won the big one. And honestly, it's long overdue. But if I'm being completely honest, going one step further with that point, dude, it's like it's getting tiresome, the whole story. Him not being able to win the big one. It's now to a point where it's like I don't even want to see it like happen all that much, like I did 2, 3, 4 years ago when they should have done it when he broke away from the bloodline. That was the perfect time to do it. But you had Roman as your one and only champion at the time, so either you strike while the iron's hot or you risk, not giving it to Sammy right then and there.
I
But
think
my thing is.
Go ahead,
No,
bro.
listen,
My bad. My bad.
No, you're good. You're good. My thing is with the John Cena thing. He lost to The Rock. Dude, the downward spiral barely lasted a month.
Exactly.
He
They're
beat
not
No,
the same,
actually,
bro.
He beat Brock Lesnar undeservedly. He shouldn't have even won. And then it was just like happy-go-lucky Cena. That's it. Who was he feuding with? John Laurinaitis afterwards, The Big Show. I remember this stuff like it was yesterday because
Yeah,
that was when
but
I
I'm
was a
not
fan.
talking. I'm not talking about the run. I'm only talking about that part right there. I'm not talking about the run. Obviously not.
That
Yeah,
was
but
just
how
a-
does
no,
that?
I mean,
okay,
but that
hold
was
on.
that was
But,
underwhelming.
Ricardo,
that run.
how does a 1 month or less than 1 month spiral John Cena, right, who is still a top guy, compared to
Still.
a Sami Zayn?
No,
Like,
because
I just
because
don't
the
get
reason why I bring that up is because like they don't know what to do with Sammy. So
yeah,
because
but Sammy's been Sammy has been struggling for years, though. We agree there, right?
Sadly.
Sammy has been struggling for years. Cena's never had to struggle for years after he was a top guy. Only for a little while, for a month or so. Look, here's what, all of this sounds great and all. I'll say this: they need to play hot potato with the title. Okay.
Yes.
It needs to get interesting again. And from what we're talking about, I don't think we disagree with too much here. I just think we need a certain sense of unpredictability with the WWE title that we haven't gotten since Cody won it back from Cena. So I think for the most part, we're in alignment here. I just think they need to play hot potato with the title. Maybe have Sammy go over on WrestleMania, a big moment, big feel moment, and then have him drop it to Trick and then Trick loses it to somebody else. But just play hot potato for a while until SummerSlam, right? And then
Yeah, I
if you want
agree.
to put the title back on Cody at a major pay-per-view in SummerSlam, do it, right? But I think we need a break from, like you said, Ricardo, I think we need a break from Cody and just play hot potato with the title for a while. Let Cody chase it a little bit, right? Maybe have Randy screw him, in a few times, right? Finish their feud, and then have Cody eventually win it back at SummerSlam.
I don't think Cody will win the championship for the rest of the year because I personally believe that Cody and Orton thing was going to happen. I personally believe that. I believe that's going to happen. I don't need a title for that, right? I feel like that those two dynamic, you got 2 decades of history between those two, right? That could possibly happen for each other, in which the title picture will no longer be back on Cody Rhodes. And it's be like what you said, Kenny, on being hot potato to other superstars that needs to shine more than Cody Rhodes, right? That's how I think in terms of, because Cody's also playing, is it a predicament similar to like Cena? Like, you know how back then Cena was getting chance after chance after chance with the WWE title?
Yeah.
It's similar to like that, right? So, which is why I don't want Cody, as far as I'm concerned, just of this year, to win the WWE title elsewhere. I just want him to be in a rivalry with Randy Orton, so he can have the rivalry of the year for this year to better uphold SmackDown, Orton, and him. And yeah, but the Armageddon Hell in a Cell to main event night 1, box office. And for all those 6 guys that we mentioned, Orton, Cody, McIntyre, Sammy, Trick, and Fatu, Jacob.
I'll say this. It's only box office if Cody loses.
Yeah, anybody but Cody. Anybody but Cody. Absolutely.
Yeah, we need somebody new
No
holding
ifs, ands,
that
or
title.
buts.
It's getting annoying.
No ifs, ands, or buts. Anybody would be more box office winning the WWE Championship but Cody Rhodes.
Hell, I wouldn't even be upset if Drew ends up retaining the title.
Exactly.
If they give him,
Yep.
if
I'll
they
be
give
cool
him
with
something,
that.
if they give him some better creative,
Yeah, I'll be cool with that.
I wouldn't even be
I'll be
upset
cool with
about that.
that.
I just don't want the inevitable, Cody winning.
Yeah,
Okay.
Drew's that dog. Drew's that guy, right? But like, yeah, we all agreement there.
All right,
but
but
that's
let me
the
ask.
show.
Wait. But let
Go
me
ahead,
ask.
bro.
Let me
Sure.
let's throw another thing out there. Who do we think
Sure.
is winning the chamber matches on Saturday?
Orton.
You think Randy's winning?
Orton.
That's
I'm
cute.
sorry. Did you just say Orton?
Okay.
Did you just say Orton?
I said Orton. Who do you think is gonna win? Who do you think is winning?
Cody.
But Cody has a better shot of
Man,
winning
please.
than the fucking Orton. I'm sorry, but Orton is not winning, bro. Randy's not winning. It's gonna be Randy versus Drew. No.
Like Randy
that's like
awarded
saying-
Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania.
No, that's not happening, bro. I'm sorry,
not-
man. I'm sorry. But Triple K, with his booking, the way he is, man, no, nah.
Hey, bro,
Nah,
you know
man.
what's crazy with Triple H booking things? Hey, bro, he might actually do it because like he doesn't have a
Do
lot of
what?
ideas to run around right.
Do what? Randy?
No, I'm talking about he doesn't have a. You'll be surprised.
No, bro.
You'll be
No, I was
surprised, man.
I was
think
about
he
to
can.
say Triple H booking Randy to win? What? Nah, that's not happening, bro. I'm sorry.
Not happening.
It ain't happening. It's not happening. And I love Randy. Listen, I love Randy. I would like him to win, right? But I don't think he has a good enough story to tell at WrestleMania with. But if Randy does win, we do know that the WWE champion will not main event night 1. That it's most likely
Yes.
going to be something else, right?
Yes.
It's probably going to be the first, like the WWE championship match is probably going to be the first match of the night, and that I don't think that has ever happened in WrestleMania history. So
No, that happened. It was War Heavyweight Championship.
it was World
No,
Heavyweight
it
You're
Championship.
right.
happened with the-
World Heavyweight
it happened
Championship.
with the
Yes.
World Heavyweight
Yes.
title a few
World
times,
Heavyweight
yeah.
Championship. Yes.
So it's never happened to the point of where the WWE champion was the first match of the night of WrestleMania. So I think that might happen this year. depending
Yeah,
on
they
who
might have
wins.
to. They might have to.
So
But remains to be seen. But that's the show, y'all. So this was the Wrestling Hypothesis podcast. Break the hype, expose the truth, and speak for fans for what we really see the business is today. Because if you ain't talking, I ain't watching. I'm your main man, Ricardo. To my guys, King Kenny and my dog Abba. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you soon. All right, peace.
Later, guys. Take it easy.